Good evening. Welcome to Salon Lounge at Dixon Place. It is our pleasure to be here in this wonderful space again. We're here every month, usually on the third Saturday of each month. Next month we will be here actually on the second Saturday, July 14th, for Dixon Place's Hot Festival of Queer Culture and Arts History. And we will have our showcase celebrating LGBTQ artists and artistry. So please come back out on May. Oh, sorry, did I say May? Gosh, I'm going backwards. July 14th. I want to keep time expanded.
Wish it was May.
So I'm Heidi Russell, founder of International Women Artists Salon, and it's my pleasure to also be the host tonight. And we have a tight format tonight, so we're going to try to move right along. We'll tell you more at the end if we have some more time. And we welcome those who are viewing from around the world on our YouTube channel. And tonight we are celebrating the wonderful month of Immigrant Heritage Month, and we're celebrating the contributions and brilliance of immigrant women creatives here in New York City. And first we're going to honor an historical honoree, which we try to do every showcase to help rewrite history as well, and honor and recognize women creatives who have not received their proper recognition. And tonight we're honoring Janet Sobel. She was born in 1893, and she was considered a Ukrainian-American abstract expressionist whose career started actually midlife at the age of 45. Even with an artistic career as brief as hers, Sobel is the first artist known to use the drip technique, which directly influenced Jackson Pollock. Janet was born Jeannie Alachowski in 1893 in Ukraine, and she, along with her mother, Fanny Kinchuk, and her siblings moved to Ellis Island in New York City in 1908. At 17, she married Max Sobel and was a mother of 4 when she began painting in 1937. And she became known as the suburban artist housewife that inspired the feminist conversation around domestic roles of women. She produced both non-objective abstractions and figurative artwork. Peggy Guggenheim included Sobel's work in her The Art of This Century gallery in 1945, and the critic Clement Greenberg, with Jackson Pollock in tow, saw Sobel's work there in 1946, and in his essay, quote-unquote, American Type Painting, cited those works as the first instance of all-over painting he had seen. Her art evolved from recognizable figures to a more abstract style of painting, the drip painting. So you thought Jackson Pollock invented the drip painting, didn't you? Now we know better. Anyway, so we're going to move right along to our video and film section of our showcase. And first up, we're going to be showing some video work of Annie Yan, who is our videographer out in the audience. Thank you, Annie, for videotaping all of our showcases. And she is a videographer, editor, and indie TV producer. She was born in Hong Kong and grew up in New York City. And she invites you to visit her YouTube channel for a wide variety of programs that she has produced and random videos which she has recorded around the city. And you'll see a little bit tonight. So first up is going to be a couple music videos of Brownie Pink. And those are musicians Robert Douglas Grant and Debbie Ray Chaudhary. And Annie conceptualized, did the camera work, and edited. And this tonight is presented in memory of Robert Douglas Grant, who unfortunately passed away in May of this year. And after that, we will see a video of her paintings to give a taste of her work. So we will tune down the lights and take a look.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Let's start.
Yeah. Let's do over.
Round of applause to Annie. And I am going to
Are you gonna say some words?
introduce in the darkness here. Yes, Annie, would you like to say anything about your work, or
Yes, I hold the
Maybe
camera.
later.
maybe later?
Hold the
Okay,
camera.
all right. We'll have a question and answer at the end. We're going to bring up the next film, and it is by Elena Grosso. And Elena was born and raised in Italy, where she obtained a formal degree in child psychology, actually. And then she was part of an independent theater company there in Venice. And she moved to New York 4 years ago, and has since attended the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute for 2 years, conservatory program, and has performed in many productions, which you can see a few here in her bio. And since then, she's been also working in films as well as the theater and commercials. And 2 years ago, she opened Light of Film New York City, a production company with her partner, Marco Vitale, and is now involved in the documentary directing and producing. And her last work, The Future is Female, is an award-winning short documentary about female empowerment. And she's currently working on another documentary called Ciano, which is in post-production and is scheduled to be released in 2019. You can learn more about Elena. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here. She got stuck in Long Island. So, but we still wanted to present her work because it's really fitting for the theme tonight. This film is called Personal, and it's her short documentary that narrates the struggle of being an immigrant artist in New York. And it's a documentary that was her first project by Elena, and it's her own personal story of when she moved to New York in pursuit of her career in acting. So I hope you like the special lighting of this particular introduction.
Yes.
And you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay, great. And here we go with Personal.
My name is Elenka Javid.
My name is Francesco. I'm from Rimini. It's a tiny city on the east coast of Italy.
My name is Paula from Sweden.
I'm from Romania.
I ask myself this question, why New York, a lot of the times, but I think for me, it wasn't a question of going anywhere else.
Really find yourself as a person. You can come here and be whatever you want, experience whatever you want, and nobody really judge you.
I was bored at work, that's what I was. I was sitting in the office, looking at my computer screen, and I'd been talking with my colleagues for a couple of months about maybe I should just go to acting school and try it now. I have the money.
You make friends all around the world. That's the coolest thing about it. You're not stuck in one small place where everyone has the same world views, you know. Everyone has strong opinions. Everyone's like young and fresh and angry.
You're constantly stimulated, artistically, socially, whatever it is, you're constantly stimulated in the city, and that's something I really like here.
Why acting? That's a hard question.
What the hell am I doing? You know, or sometimes when you talk to relatives or friends at home and they can't really relate to like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what did you do last week? And I'm like, I can't really, there was nothing concrete maybe I did last week. Maybe I went to like 5 auditions, but nothing came out of it.
Like, it was such a spontaneous decision. Like, I was miserable. And I was like, why not? A friend of mine always told me about New York, and I was like, no, that's not really gonna happen. I'm never gonna go to New York. And then I was like, you know what, why not? And every time I checked like the Strasbourg website, I'd get like goosebumps, and it was so exciting. So I just sort of upped and left. I don't know if I'd have the balls to do it again.
And there was always this voice about acting, and always there. I remember once I was like in my room and I made a list about possible job, and I end up writing acting.
But being an international actress in the US is a struggle for mainly 2 big reasons. One being the whole visa situation adds an enormous amount of pressure, and number 2, it's the language barrier, the slight accent that you can detect in a lot of us.
It's really hard to enjoy your life and take it a day at a time without thinking about what we're gonna do next to manage to stay. Because you get OPT, but then a lot of agents don't want to sign you on OPT because you're going to leave. Then you get the O1, and again, a lot of networks won't hire you unless you have the next. So it's always, I feel like you're always fighting for the next set of papers.
I do question myself, I'm like, how long am I going to put into this, and how quick am I going to be able to make progress? How do I measure my progress, and how much time I'm going to give?
I believe in my work, you know, because I love it basically. You know, it was funny. I was talking with this cab driver a couple of days ago, and he told me, we were talking about New York, and he said that people come to New York because they think they, you know, gonna become free, while instead you become a prisoner.
But I know that the initial reaction, as much as it's easy for me to say now that I want to leave and travel and stuff, the idea of never coming back is very scary.
I don't see failure as a possibility in the sense that I can't fail, because I'm already succeeding in my life, taking risks, I'm putting myself in uncomfortable situations, and regardless of the outcome, like for me that's already, for me I'm succeeding in my life because I'm following something that a lot of people wouldn't dare to do.
Very good. I love it. The next guy.
I'm doing especially fabulous with this mic here. I'm a fine art photographer, yes. Stage presence. Anyways, thank you to Annie and Elena for their great video and film work and sharing their creative vision and capturing stories of immigrant creatives who are trying to find their path and their way here in New York City. So our next artist featured is in the category of literature, as well as activism, which I love the combination. And I'm going to bring up to the stage here shortly Tahitun Mariam, and hopefully I did her name justice. She's going to be sharing some of her poetry in a group of poems called Belongings. And I'm going to let her talk a little bit about, is it okay if I let you give the intro for your poems, or would you like me to read it?
No, I can do it.
Sorry?
I can do it.
Okay, good. I think you'll do it most justice. But Tahitun is a poet, activist, researcher, feminist, and community organizer. She is a 2018 recipient of the Bronx Recognizes Its Own, BRIO, Award from the Bronx Council of the Arts, participant in the 2017 Immigrant Artist Mentoring Program, Literary and Performing Arts with New York Foundation for the Arts, which is NYFA, and a founding member of the South Asian Diaspora Artists Collective. And you can follow her on Twitter and Instagram, noted here in the program, and that's at, I'm going to spell it, THAHITUN, for those of you on our YouTube channel. And you can also learn more about her on medium.com/@tahitun.mariam. And again, that's THAHITUN.MARIAM. And bring you up to the stage. Come on up, Tahitun.
Tahitun.
Thank you, everyone who's here, everyone who'll be watching. A lot of my work deals with migration, deals with displacement. It deals with what this immigrant identity is in modern day America, as well as like outside of America as well, globally. So I write about that a lot in my own body of work. So today I'm just going to share 3 different poems. The first one is called To the Children of Immigrants. To the children of immigrants. Every time the question arises, in a room with shiny chandeliers, colorful cocktails, and hushed indoor voices, a bright, beautiful abstraction, removed from the daily, cockroach-infested reality of too many cardboard boxes. Carrying clothes, carrying childhood memories, carrying trauma, smelling of the guilt of sacrifices, and every time someone asks, "So, what does your father do? What does your mother do?" And you cower, hang your head, lower your eyes, sometimes in shame, sometimes in vulnerability, sometimes you're too exposed too soon. An image of your dear working class parents surface, working too hard for too damn long, and you see the eyes of your father. You see your brown Arab, African, Eastern European, South American father behind the wheels of a cab whizzing through the dark streets of the desolate New York City skyline, eyes forming cataracts searching for passengers, or behind the facade of an upscale Upper West Side bistro. Hidden behind piles and piles of dirty plates or a skillet frying onions. Your Mexican father cooking meat burning in the embers while the chef prepares the delightfully done presentation and receives the accolades of white patrons of your father's hard work. To the children of immigrants, with parents working as bellboys, busboys, truck drivers, delivery men, department workers, fast food owners, fast food restaurant cashiers, churro sellers, street peddlers, shoe shiners, fish sellers, fruit vendors, construction workers, cleaning ladies, caretakers, janitors, bending on breaking knees all day, using the same very hand they use to feed your dreams, smudging away the tainted spots of their lost selves, seen as less than English illiterate only because they aren't paid to use their minds, but their bodies. Do not let them know. Do not let them ever feel shamed, unappreciated, unacknowledged. They navigate the cruelty of American society as it is every single day. So that was the first one.
Thank you.
And then the second one is a poem called 6 Yards. I wrote this 2 years ago. I had been living abroad and then I returned to the States, and America had changed a lot. This was right before the election. There was a lot going on. People, I mean, we all know there was a lot going on. And there was a lot of hate crimes that summer as well. And I'm Bangladeshi, and so in the Bangladeshi community, there were hate crimes in New York City that summer. So I didn't really know how to process a lot of the news I was receiving, so I decided to write about it. 6 yards. All it took for me to be posed as a national threat was 6 yards of fabric, wrapped tightly around my body, hugging every limb of hurt, pain, and fear. My father came here as a soldier of domestic labor to diversify America, said the visa, but it was a ploy to bring brown men to do the grunt work, selling peanuts, selling donuts and coffee, selling their sleep, selling their dignity to earn a few dollars, and this same country kills those same people who wear markers of our culture. A topi, a beard, a salwar kameez, a hijab, and then America no longer needs the labor of the lower, the grunt of the immigrant brigade. The need to diversify America suddenly decreases. But our people still die. And thus I have to hear, "Ma, tu shari pore bahire jacchish, deri korish na. My love, you're going out wearing a sari. Please don't be out too late." My own mother grows wary of the 6 yards of fabric and the threat it poses to my life in this glorious land of the free. God bless the USA.
Bravo!
I know a lot of my work is very heavy. It takes a lot probably to process, and I definitely think I appreciate a lot when people hear it and then they'll come back to me and they'll be like, "Oh, I heard that recitation and I wanted to talk to you about what it meant," right? So if you guys feel that way, come up to me, talk to me. The last one I'll be doing, it's called Baladi, love of one's country. Baladi in Arabic means my country. And being someone who works in the field, has worked in the field of international migration and international development, I'm totally broken with what's going on with refugees all around the world. So this poem is for them. Not everyone dreams of seeing Lady Liberty, standing tall, holding her torch to light the way. To those lost, to those hungry, to those most desperate to leave their broken society. And yet, not everyone dreams of coming to Ellis Island to stand in a sea of displaced people to wait eagerly for a stamp of impunity to form a diaspora community. Not everyone wants to cross seas. despite how difficult and violent their ongoing reality may be. Not everyone wants to be new, to be fresh off the boat, to build a life without their country. Baladi, whispers a young girl sitting in a refugee camp in Zatari. Baladi, cries a Syrian man as he climbs onto a tugboat about to head for the horrid waters somewhere between Greece and Turkey. Baladi scribbles a son onto the rubble left behind in the ruins of a desecrated Hamas city. Baladi, it means my country. So yes, not everyone wants to leave, to come to a land where they're not wanted, to start a life they're not choosing, to be labeled as helpless beings, to belong to an already fragmented society. Not everyone dreams of seeing Lady Liberty in order to become refugees. Thank you.
Do you have any books or?
I
YouTube
mean,
channel?
I don't do YouTube. I prefer to do like in person. I like seeing my readers. I like experiencing that. Right now I'm working on hopefully building a website. And also I think I provided my email if people like to plug into readings, and I'm doing some like paid engagements as well. Like I'm trying to like build all of that up right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go you.
Good, good. Very good. I love it.
Thank you so much.
I'll take your in.
Yeah.
Incredible work. I can't wait to listen or read more.
Yeah.
And thank you, Tim.
My friend Annie would like that too.
And I think I'm going to have Tessa go last, if you don't mind, because you're going to be telling a personal story, and I think that might lead in nicely to us gathering afterwards and continuing a dialogue. So I am going to bring up to the stage now Ziapora Dakile.
Yes.
Woo! Okay, I got it right. And she's going to be paying a tribute to Winnie Mandela tonight, who we've lost recently. And the tribute is called Reasons I Became an Immigrant. And Zia is now currently based in New York, and she was born and bred in Johannesburg, South Africa, and is a Josie girl at heart.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And she landed her first commercial for Vodacom speedily after high school, and went on to study drama at the University of Pretoria. However, her hunger for more rigorous training led her to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts here in New York City. And Zia graduated in 2016 and completed her year with the Academy's 2016-2017 company. And her first off-Broadway debut was at the Black Lady Theater, where she played the braided hair sister in a play called Heritage by Nicole Gaines. And she was recently seen in Lords?
Yeah, Lords.
Lords, okay. A devised play based on the essays of Audre Lorde, directed by Catherine Wilkinson. So we look forward to learning more about that. But welcome to the stage, Ziapora.
Thank you. Okay, so just a little introduction is I left home. I always knew that I wanted to be an actress, and I always knew that I was going to come to New York, and I always knew that I wanted a life here. But the thing that made me leave was heartbreak. Okay, and so this is a poem about how sometimes love is the most devastating thing. I know the pain that lives in his brown skin. I feel it from the echoing voices I hear when I go to the cemetery. The dead have chosen to voice their pain to the man I love. I know the thoughts that are embedded in each lock on his head. Love is there, but it's too complicated, and with the growth of his hair, I know the tips start to die and death feeds its way up like fire. I know him from a distance because he's a soldier, and I'm too afraid that his touch will become strangle, too afraid of his loss of compassion, too afraid of his indulgence in death, too afraid of his never-resting mind and vengeful thoughts, too afraid of him, the man I know I love. And I'm waiting for my love to find his soul, so he can complete his journey, so that my son's skin will be every color of the rainbow, so that every hair on my son's head will be a different texture, and he will be the anchor of every race as he makes the world realize that we should embrace the awe that comes through the wonders of the kaleidoscope we are. This boy will be his father's saving grace, helping him realize that he no longer has to consider himself a fighter, fighting for a forgiven and conquered past. Son, make him a lover and a provider. Tell him and show him what you know. Because when you go to the cemetery, the dead dance with you, stepping to the music birthed in Sophia Town, enjoying what was and what could be enjoyed. You showed them forgiveness, and that there is beauty and strength in the healing of their wounds, in the healing of their pain. I hope the truth in his eyes will be restored, so that truth will show him that my love was made only for him in our creation, our own version of love, where time ceases to exist, where love is whispered by the trees and carried in the wind, where love is as easy and as vital as breathing, the only true thing keeping one alive. I love you. I love you like I love imagination. I love you like I love art. I love you like I love the smile of a newborn baby. I love you like I love the budding of a red rose. Actually, I love you so much so that this love cannot be quantified. But in me there is pain and there is suffering, and my love pours out of my eyes like heavy rain, and touching the earth, it becomes the dirt under your feet. Listen now for the last time, because with your next embrace, with your next tender kiss, with your next touch and exploration of my body, this body, I will fight. I will fight with my loving gaze, and I will embrace you when I will kiss you, and I will touch you and explore you until love smothers you, until you are kind again, until you have compassion again, until your touch remains a touch, and until your only indulgence is me. So the life that comes out of your body will not be diseased and corrupted by painful and unforgiving thoughts, killing us both, driving away our souls, having us become sheep that fall now to the evil that is creeping in on you. Please, name him and place him in my womb. Touch my growing dome and help it rise. Whisper and sing to our baby so that he knows his father's love. But in these words, you see a traitor, allowing my insides to implode with every hardened blow, courtesy of your fists. The growing dome releases itself, and like pouring rain from my eyes, a story with no beginning but with an end. Spilled blood floods the earth, cursing you. Mama, 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 mama. My son is calling for his mother's love. My son is calling for the freedom in my breasts. My son is calling for the smell of my skin and the tickle of my hair against his face. My son, he is calling for my soothing songs. My son, he is calling for his mother's love. But the last bits of rain that carry love have poured at your feet. And now my love has passed you by like these years, and these months, and these days, these hours, like the laughter, the moments, and the memories wasted. My love that is carried by the wind has poured at your feet, and like dirt, unaware, you carried it away. A lover, a provider, a father, a soldier. What? A lover, a provider, a father, and a soldier. Who? Now you're just another brother who will only ever represent the pain that lives in his brown skin.
Bravo!
I just keep hearing more and more it's fantastic work. And before we bring up Tessa, thank you, Zia.
Yes, thank you.
And I'd just like to let everybody know to save the date of March 8th every year for our Salon Symphony, which is our annual, I think we're going into our 8th annual tribute where international women artists in New York City pay homage to a woman creative from their home country. And it's truly a symphony. We usually have about 25 countries represented. And so please save that date. We also have a radio show, Salon Radio, which is on podbean.com, and we interview and present individual women artists as well as women-run and women-founded and women-owned arts organizations, groups, and special projects. So many things going on, and we're just trying to get all of that out there through International Women Artists Salon. And we invite everybody to connect with us on our International Women Artists Salon fan page, on our YouTube channel, which some of you are there already, thank you, and on our Twitter and Instagram, which is @WomenArtSalon. And we invite you to send us a message, connect with us, tell us your stories, share with us your work, connect us with women's work that's happening in your area of the world. And I'd just like to thank everybody out there, citizens of the world, and connecting to help raise up humanity together. And this is just a small sample tonight of some amazing women that are doing that. So I'd like to bring up to the stage Tessa, and Tessa Lana. Okay, Tessa Lana, we got it. Probably the easiest one of the night. I probably stumbled the most over yours. Anyways, Tessa is strongly opinionated, singer, writer, and philosopher living in the East Village of New York. And she fronts Tessa Makes Love and writes on Tessa Fight Robots. She has been featured in a documentary about her adventures and on Douglas Rushkoff's Team Human. So lots to learn about her at her website, which is www.tessamakes.love.com. Can't wait to check it out. So come up to the stage and tell us your story.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I want to express my love for all the poetry and poems and stories and goosebumps. I mean, seriously. So, I'm going to tell a story, but before, I'm going to sing a very short Russian song just so that it doesn't go heavy very fast. So, song. Ой, мороз, мороз, не морозь меня, не морозь меня, моего коня. That's the song. Thank you. Just one verse. See? So, normally I do either music or poetry. I'm going to tell a story about being detained and arrested by immigration because it's so much in the news and it happened to me in person, to this very body, a long time ago, way before this administration, way before it was during Bush. And it is interesting. It is very interesting. So it started with me marrying the wrong guy. And I was not in any need of any papers. I was very proud that I was independent. I found a job that was going to give me a visa and a green card, and I was like, yay, like go me. So independent. And then I started dating this guy who was a lawyer, and he convinced me, he essentially nagged me into marrying him, and he also convinced me to quit the job that was giving me the immigration thing, and he was abusive, like big time, like serious, physical and everything. And he was a lawyer, he was abusive, and it was a separate nightmare. I don't want to go to that. It was heavy, it was shitty and awful, and I completely lost my personality for a while back then. But then he went to Homeland Security and told them I was a Russian spy. So now it's like, come on, everybody's a Russian spy, right? Like back then it was not as common, so nobody checked anything. And what they did, they rolled back all of my visas back to the very first one when I just came back, which made me super illegal, right? And then the 4 agents with guns showed up at my door, tough guys, and so they got me. I couldn't climb walls or do all the superhero shit, and they arrested me. I was living in a high-rise with concierge, very, 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 very fancy, so I was very ashamed as it was happening. They, like handcuffs and everything. And it all ended well eventually, many courts later. I spent a month in jail, and there were things like for example, being handcuffed to 2 other women, crying at the top of their lungs, very, very young Chinese girls that didn't speak English. They were probably illegal, taken out of the airport, and then so they're crying at the top of their lungs. We're in the back of the van with very brave men driving it, and they are doing this to the car. You're handcuffed, so your body's hitting the walls and everything. The girls are crying at the top of their lungs, right? And they're laughing, and they say, "Oh, heck, those Chinese people! Why do they even come here?" And no kindness whatsoever. It's just another day at work, I guess, for them.
Yeah.
Or sleeping on a metal bed, and I was wearing shorts and like a tank top, so less clothes than now, essentially. And so I'm sleeping on this metal bed, and it's cold as hell. And you ask them for a blanket, and they go, "No, I can't give you a blanket." And like what angers me, although it all passed and I'm happy and I don't wish them anything bad, I just wish them healing. But what angers me is that if any of those men met me at a bar, they would be hitting at me, right? I mean, they were hitting me and buying me drinks. But because the context was me being a suspicious immigrant, not human, not anybody they would consider as their equal, they would do all this cruelty. Or crying in a cell of the jail cell in the middle of the night because something starts hurting, and it was hurting so much I was scared. I didn't know what was happening. I mean, to this day I will never know what was happening, but my body was really, really hurting. And just crying there for hours, and nobody would come, and then eventually a kind guard knocked on my door and said, "What's going on?" And they said, "I'm in pain, this is happening." She said, "Well, can't do anything now, maybe next day we'll take you to the hospital." But by next day everything just worked out, so it stopped. And of course the food that smells like piss, impossible to eat. The best thing that happened to me food-wise in the entire month of being in jail was the peanut butter sandwich that FBI gave me when they were questioning me, and they were actually trying to make me into a double agent, which was hilarious because I wasn't an agent in the first place, and I didn't know whether to laugh or to cry because I was scared as hell, because I had no idea what was going to happen, whether they were going to deport me, torture me, what was going to happen. I had no clue, and I was just scared every day of my life, every minute. And so that when FBI got to me, they gave me this beautiful peanut butter sandwich, the best thing ever. And then they were like, "So are you going to cooperate?" I didn't want to know what they wanted me to do. I did not ask any questions, but they were like, "So, well, if you cooperate, then your life might be good. If you don't cooperate, your life might not be so good." And they were just doing this and pressuring me, and luckily nothing happened physically. I was scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. And then, of course, my friends got me out on bail, and that's the only reason that I was in jail for only a month, because I heard rumors while I sat there, heard rumors about foreigners being locked forever. Like if they had no bail money, they would just stay there forever. And so my friends got me out on bail, and then they hired the best lawyer in town. Luckily, they had the money. And eventually, years later, it was all clear, nobody ever apologized. So I'm an American citizen, a proud one, and it all worked out. And the conclusion, actually, I'm not angry at all. It made me love more, because I understand that those people, and that really goes towards your poem,
Yes.
those people are broken. And they were cruel, broken men, for the most part. Yes.
And your ex-husband?
My ex-husband is practicing law in Chicago.
The one
He-
that said that you were an agent.
My ex-husband is practicing law in Chicago. Life will get to him. I'm not revengeful. And the agents never apologized. When I came back after all of my ordeal was over, and so I'm all legal, everything is good, it was proven that it was all his his thing. And by the way, the agents, when they were questioning me, trying to pressure me, I was like, no, it's my husband. He was abusive for me. He was afraid to lose his license. That's why he wanted me deported. So that's why he said it. They were like, we don't care about that. That's your issue. You deal with it somehow. We care about this. Are you going to collaborate? Very nice people.
Wow.
Anyway, I was a Russian spy before it was fashionable. So, thank you.
Glad you're here.
Oh wow.
Thank you. I think you deserve it. So thank you so much to Tessa, to Annie, to Zia, to Tahitu, yes, and
Say it confidently.
and Lena, and for sharing your work again, and invite everybody who's watching this on YouTube to add in the comment section your story, and send us your links and contact information so that we can learn about your work and about your stories. And just like to add that my grandfather immigrated from Denmark in 1929, so I'm not a direct immigrant, but I'm a proud immigrant heritage celebrator as well for all those who came before me and paved the way for me to be here in America. And again, to all of the immigrants and refugees around the world who are struggling, thriving, and connecting and producing and loving. And we thank you for just your commitment to being in a place and creating a home with the people that are in your area of the world. So thank you. And thank you again to Dixon Place, to the staff, and to everyone who supports International Women Artists Salon. Thank you, and we'll see you again.
Woo. Thank you, everybody. Woo.